they come into their ring with a strategy, and you have to eliminate the strategy. So that's why in sparring you work on just defending, moving out of range, going through the rounds and doing it.
Defend the straight shots, that's it, good. Feet now, good. Little feint again, that's it. Just keep it simple, don't give nothing away, that's it, nice.
Whether it's former fighters or whoever, just they don't give Jake any chance at all. I'm not saying he doesn't have any chance. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, everybody in the know-how as far as the boxing world, they're like, Jake has zero chance to win this fight.
Being brought in to work with Jake, but I don't know that Ben Davison would do that. I don't know if just as AJ leaves to go train with, and this is why I say Ben Davison, AJ has left to go and train with Usyk's team. Left Ben Davison, go train with Usyk's team. I don't know, because their relationship is so good, I don't know that Ben Davison would just turncoat on AJ and help somebody prepare for him.
Anthony Joshua is reinventing himself, and the boxing world is watching every move. As the clash with Jake Paul looms, Joshua's training camp has become the ultimate headline, showcasing not just sweat and effort but a complete evolution in strategy and mindset. Every drill he executes screams purpose, speed, precision, and endurance, all meticulously crafted to ensure he steps into the ring sharper than ever. But the real shockwave isn't in his workouts, it's in the people guiding him. AJ has made the bold move of parting ways with the Ben Davison era, now training alongside key members of Alexander Usyk's team, away from the chaotic glare of London, in a controlled, focused environment. This is a masterstroke. He's absorbing lessons from the fighter who beat him twice, targeting weaknesses, refining defense, and redefining power. Naturally, the shift has stirred debate. Dillian Whyte and other voices in British boxing question if this rotation risks confusion or loss of identity. Yet, every doubter is fueling AJ's fire, turning camp tension into raw, unstoppable motivation, with the world bracing for the outcome.
This is true that AJ has gone out to train with Alexander Usyk's team. So I don't know if that means Alexander Usyk per se, but Alexander Usyk's team. I have no issues with that at all. Some people might sort of throw out the phrase, if you can't beat them, join them. AJ's always kind of done that. A lot of fighters do this as well, by the way, but when it's AJ, it's big noise. A lot of fighters go to camps and spend a couple of weeks in a camp. Like, most fighters do it, in fact. They'll go to a camp, spend a couple of weeks, Obviously, it looks a bit different because AJ Usyk, but most fighters do that. I mean, there's no problem sort of soaking up knowledge and seeing how people do things. Like, why would you not want to see how one of the greatest heavyweights in the world trains and what he's doing over there? You'd want to see it. I don't know if it means AJ's going to jump ship and be trained by Alexander Usyk's team. I doubt that very much. But I don't see...
Inside Anthony Joshua's camp, nothing is left to chance. Insiders reveal a meticulously curated sparring roster, southpaws to replicate Jake Paul's tricky footwork, lightning-fast heavyweight partners to mirror his speed, and rotating styles ranging from awkward to clinch-heavy. Every short, high-tempo round is designed to push Joshua's body to adapt to quick in-and-out exchanges, sharpening both reaction and recovery. This constant rotation ensures he faces a spectrum of styles, preparing him for Paul's unpredictable blend of fundamentals and unconventional movement. On the flip side, Jake Paul is quietly making headlines for his own strategic moves. Reports indicate he's enlisted Don Charles, famed for training Daniel Dubois, a knockout artist who once defeated Joshua. The symbolism isn't lost. Paul is drawing on knowledge tied to Joshua's vulnerabilities, signaling a tactical edge beyond mere hype. Analysts, including Wade, suggest Paul might even reach out to Ben Davison, Joshua's former trainer, adding another layer of intrigue. Every decision, every choice of sparring partner, and every coaching shift is feeding a narrative of preparation, mind games, and strategy. The battle isn't just in the ring, it's being fought in gyms, camps, and planning rooms, where both fighters are molding their bodies, minds, and tactics for the ultimate collision.
As well, I think Josh Taylor as well. So that would be a guy that's potentially being brought in to work with Jake, but I don't know that Ben Davison would do that. I don't know if just as AJ leaves to go train with, and this is why I say Ben Davison, AJ has left to go and train with Usyk's team. Left Ben Davison, go train with Usyk's team. I don't know, because their relationship is so good, I don't know that Ben Davison would just turncoat on AJ and help somebody prepare for him. Don't think that would happen, unless it was like a Tyson Fury who he already had a relationship with. So, that leaves another individual. That leaves Mr. Don Charles. Don Charles, British boxing trainer, known for coaching Derek Chisora, but also known for coaching one Daniel Dubois. Just so happened, as you see here in this little very small picture down on the right side here, just so happened to, as of earlier this year, absolutely chin and stop AJ in dramatic, epic fashion in AJ's triumphant return after AJ stopped Francis Ngannou and had all his confidence back and was fighting for a world title, and Daniel Dubois said, "No, sir, not tonight." If this is true, it makes things very interesting. Don Charles was in a pretty much chaotic camp. If you guys remember with Daniel Dubois, it was like Daniel Dubois' dad was also kind of training him, which was an issue with Shane McGuigan when he was there. And then Don Charles came in, and it was chaos in the corner, and Don was trying to coach and couldn't really do it. And a lot of people thought that Don didn't get his fair shake when it came to Daniel Dubois and got a lot of the blame for Dubois losing to Usyk just a couple of months ago. But he is a very good trainer and a guy that just worked on a game plan to beat Anthony Joshua. Now, again, Daniel Dubois is also 6'4" and 250 pounds with a crazy reach. So you can't teach Jake Paul that. What will Don Charles teach to Jake if that's the case?
While Jake Paul's coaching experiments keep fueling chatter, the physical reality of this matchup cannot be ignored. At roughly 227 pounds, Paul is giving up about 18 pounds to Anthony Joshua, who checks in around 245 pounds. On paper, that might not seem insurmountable, but the real gap goes far beyond the scale. Henry, a well-known boxing podcast host, emphasizes that this contest is about stamina, ring craft, and elite-level conditioning. Joshua isn't just heavier, he's taller, stronger, and battle-tested. He's endured deep rounds against world-class opposition, navigating pressure and fatigue in ways Paul has never experienced. That combination of size, skill, and seasoned endurance creates a structural advantage that numbers alone cannot capture. When the bell rings, it won't be about weight. It will be about who can sustain intensity, think in the heat of the moment, and impose their will. Joshua's ring maturity may prove the defining factor.
Whatever, and I'll still be able to go and fight MMA fighters and all that sort of thing. I think he well knows that he could lose against someone much worse than Joshua, so why not just do it? At the same time, yeah, it's entirely possible he also thinks he could genuinely put a dent in Joshua and win this fight, which is mad. The other factors are the circumstances of the fight. You know, it's an 8-rounder, so Jake may even be thinking, well, maybe I can out-jab him for a round and run around. I'm quicker than him, potentially. Maybe my gas tank is better than his. Potentially I can do this for 8 rounds. I'm going to say now I don't think his gas tank is better than AJ's, and there's another reason why that's definitely not going to be the case, in my opinion. Jake might be telling himself this. Or worst case scenario, I am getting hurt. He is winning the fight, but I can run around for 8 rounds, make AJ look silly. I can frustrate him, get through it on points. On a points loss, which would be a giant win for Jake, and a massive, massive loss for AJ if he just won this fight on points. The other thing is the fact that they're putting in a weight clause in this fight. So there is a maximum weight limit for the fight. Apparently, Anthony Joshua can't weigh more than 245 pounds. And just to give you context for what that means, Anthony Joshua's previous weights, Daniel Dubois, he was 252 and a quarter, Francis Ngannou, 252 and a half, Wallen, 251, Helenius, 250, Franklin, 255. And then the Usyk fights, he was in the 240, so 240 and 244 and a half. Basically, it's a weight that Anthony Joshua hasn't been in 3 years. But also, Anthony Joshua, as a heavyweight, has never had to cut weight. So even if he is in the 250s, let's say he's the same weight as Ngannou, it's a 7-pound water cut, which isn't really much when you're a man as big as Anthony Joshua, if indeed that's what he decides to do, rather than just taking the weight off anyway. And if he does decide to take the weight off anyway, what we'll see is someone who's got better stamina. But again, I think this gives Jake Paul confidence. He thinks, well, I'll come in probably around about 220. He was 227 when he fought Mike Tyson, so he'll probably be thinking, well, it might only be a 20-pound weight difference, which is not insurmountable. I'm talking as if I'm Jake Paul right now, just to reiterate. And if he does decide to cut water weight, which maybe they know Joshua's pretty big right now because he's not been fighting for a while. He's been in some sort of training camp. But another factor is Joshua's coming off the back of an elbow surgery. He had an issue for a while.
Nelson confidently warns that Paul is making a colossal error by agreeing to face Anthony Joshua. The risk, he insists, far outweighs any potential reward. Calling it one of the most questionable moves in Paul's boxing career, Nelson stresses that taking on a fighter of Joshua's caliber isn't just ambitious, it's dangerously reckless. Instead of steadily climbing the ranks and testing himself against opponents closer to his level, Paul has leapt straight into the path of one of the most physically imposing heavyweights of this era. Joshua's lethal combination of speed, power, pinpoint accuracy, and elite-level experience creates a scenario where a single misstep could instantly end the fight. According to Nelson, Paul's gamble is high stakes, and the consequences of facing a seasoned champion like Joshua could be brutal, unforgiving, and career-defining.
And Jake Paul, you know what? There's still something inside of me. Something inside of me tells me not going to happen. And I don't know why. I don't know why, because all the press and the money's been spent on building this up. I'm like, there's something inside me thinking, this ain't going to happen. Even to the point where Jake Paul's hired Don Charles to be his coach or assistant coach or be involved in the team. You know, so he's making all the moves, and I just thought, if there's not a fix, if there's not some kind of settlement, this, and it is legit, as they say it is, 10 ounce gloves over 8 rounds, it baffles me why Jake Paul would do it unless he's catching out. I said it last week. I said it next week. I just think, is this going to happen? Is it going to happen? I just don't know. I'm struggling.
Ariel Helwani highlights just how unprecedented Paul's decision is, stepping into the ring against a heavyweight of Joshua's size and pedigree. Every opponent Paul has faced until now has been smaller or less experienced, often from lighter divisions or different sports. Joshua, a 6 feet 6 inches Olympic gold medalist and former world champion, brings a level of pressure, power, and technical mastery that Paul has never experienced. Analysts like Simon Jordan, Spencer Oliver, and Liam Cameron warn that if Paul were to pull off a win, it would be a seismic upset, rewriting expectations in boxing history. B.J. Flores adds that Paul's ambition is admirable, but the timing is brutal. Facing Joshua at this stage of his career risks turning a challenge into a harsh wake-up call. While Paul's persona and promotional strategy ensure massive attention, respect must be given to his courage, but the gap in experience is undeniable. On paper, experts agree, this is overwhelmingly Joshua's fight. So don't miss a second of the action. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and share this video to stay ahead of every knockout, every jab, and every shocking moment leading up to fight night.